Hello, Watem here, and welcome back to some more Umineko When Seagulls Cry. Yeah, this is a bit later than I intended to, but I am back. Um, yeah, I've been busier than I expected to be. Hooray for tax season, and other stuff like that. Anyway, I'll just go over some of my brief thoughts on the Epitaph. Uh, so to start off with, like some of the thoughts which I've had, I haven't looked too deep into it, but just going back through some of the previous stuff and thinking about it and actually trying to solve it, and with the knowledge that supposedly it's solvable with English, at the very least, kind of pull together the clues that I have in mind so far. Um, so what we know about it, some kind of word game. Um, that's what it sounds to be. You see something which has at least 6 letters to be able to remove 6 letters from it for the first Twilight. Um, it might be. I'm gonna guess that it's going to be some kind of, because the key is like in that village. Look for the shore the two will tell you of. Where sleeps the key to the Golden Land. I'm gonna guess that something in its name has the word, has like the character for key in the name of the town or something like that. And then the rest of the character can then be used to mean something else, and that's what the key is. And so in that thing, transliterated maybe, or maybe translated, uh, has more than 6 characters, and then you remove, or no, it would have 6 characters, and then something else has more than 6 characters, and you remove those 6 characters. Since it's going by characters, I'm going to, well, off of a 6, I'm going to assume that it might be, and also considering that it's solvable in English, supposedly, I'm going to assume that they're Latin characters, because that means that you can remove a lot more. I think I mentioned previously the bare minimum number of deaths. If it's instead some kind of word game, then the bare minimum number of characters in the word would have to be 6. Not necessarily removing characters here, but kill definitely suggests that it's removing characters. So it'd be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 characters, and none shall be left alive. So 11 characters or 13 characters if the tear apart the two who are close. Maybe there's like a double level or something. You remove one of them. In that case, 12, 11, 12, 13 would be possible. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. That doesn't sound like it removes anything. So an 11 to 13 character word, possibly in English. 12? That is 12 characters. 5, that's 10? Yeah. So it can't be peacefully. Maybe one of the words in here fits that count. Somehow. In any case, the word itself might not matter so much. Because we're removing 6 from that word to get something else. And then you go one by one, removing them. Not sure. If it's buttons or something, then you might ignore the first 6 and then press the third, fourth, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, maybe. In any case, one of the things which I was going to mention earlier in my train of thought, we know it isn't in the guest house because we saw them coming back from it going through the rain, so it can't be a guest house. Well, technically it could be the mansion. I don't think that they went to the mansion. It doesn't feel like they did. I feel like there'd be more kind of notice paid to, hey, maybe there's a murderer around, or well, I guess they did say it's probably fake, but at least address it then. And it would be... I'm going somewhere with this, but it would be hard to hide something in the mansion still. We know, like, one of the only places really that they could would be in what's his name? Kinzo? Or was Kinzo the oldest brother? It's been a bit since the last time I played. Yeah. If in Kinzo's room, however, we've also gotten in red text that there's no hidden doorways in Kinzo's room. Yeah, so... in any case, for which I'm leading, it could be maybe like some other random thing out there. However, my thought is the chapel. It would make sense because they barely go in there. It's kept clean by the servants, but apart from that, like once every 6 months, they don't go there. Kinzo was very adamant that they didn't go there when they were children. Perfect for hiding something. And it is for one place I think that we've encountered like English characters, or Latin characters rather, where it had the MBT, like for million, billion, trillion, and Q for quadrillion. But I mean, honestly, everyone knows Q stands for quecto. You know, the metric prefix, 10 to the negative 30, which apparently was only official in 2022. I feel like I came across it in high school, but maybe my memory's just wrong. I mean, another thing, since this is set in the 1980s, and this puzzle has possibly been around for several decades by this point, you then still have to ask yourself the question if they're using the short scale or the long scale, if they're going by those English numbers as a prefix, like all the first letter of the numbers, because a lot of my viewers might not be aware of this, but in England in particular, up until like early 1900s, I think. I mean, it's only England used the long scale counting system rather than short scale, which the Americans use, and England has been using for the past several decades. Basically, instead of a billion being 1,000 million, which is what it is in the short scale, in the long scale it's a million. So basically, instead of going 1,000 million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, you'd go 1,000 million, 1,000 million, or a milliard, billion, 1,000 billion, or a billiard, trillion, 1,000 trillion, or a trilliard, and then a quadrillion, and then 1,000 quadrillion, or a quadrilliard, I think. I mean, the milliard is less common, from what I saw. And I will say, probably the main reason that I even know about the long scale counting system is because of French. Because they go mille for 1,000, million for a million, and then milliard for a billion. So yeah, they still use the long scale. That was a bit of a tangent, but yes, that's the only place that we've really seen Latin characters, I think. Hmm. I mean, maybe it's somewhere else, but because it's in English, I've just been thinking that it's been translated. But that's the only place where they've been like, huh, what is this? I also don't remember how many it was. Might have been. I don't think they had T for 1,000. And I mean, not even Americans would use T for 1,000. They also use K, pretty sure. Yeah. Did I start my timer? I don't think I started my timer. Oh, I did start my timer. And I'm already like a third of the way through. Oh, oops. In any case, that's where my current thoughts are. I will see about looking more in depth into those. Chapel, I do think is the most reasonable place for it to be hidden. Because it's one, not the guest house, which we've confirmed. Well, I suppose technically not confirmed, but close enough. Yeah, it's the only place where we've seen the Latin characters, and perhaps there's more Latin characters inside. We didn't get much of a look when they were inside previously. I don't think, at least. Uh, and it's somewhere which, somewhat suspiciously, they've been kept away from. And even now, they said they felt kind of spooky to go there. One of the bodies was in the chapel, wasn't it? Huh. Why did they not? Maybe it isn't the chapel. Huh. In any case, let's continue.
姉さん、さっきから変よ。もう少し休んだら？そうね。3月までの金策を考えたら頭痛がひどくなってきちゃったわ。それは良くないわね。休んでて。姉さんの頭痛がひどくならないよう私も実調してるわ。私だって頭痛さっきから辛いし。
Uh-huh. Coded messages for each other.
ありがとう。じゃあ私お言葉に甘えてもう少し休ませてもらうわね。
どうしたんやエヴァ、急にへそ曲げて。すまんな、わしらもうちょい休ませてもらうわ。すまんな、すまんな。
After apologizing several times as they were praying, Hideyoshi followed Eva out of the lobby. I wonder why.
どうにもギスギスしている。
無理もない。
You've been awake for however many hours?
早朝に殺人事件。
There was also that.
それからずっとここで銃を抱きながら缶詰ですもの。ストレスが溜まって当然ね。
And you know, lack of sleep too. Doesn't help.
上の子たちもだいぶストレスが溜まってるんじゃないかしら。マリアが心配だわ。こういう時は感触を起こしやすいの。
At that moment, they heard the sound of wild footsteps coming from the second floor. The guest house wasn't a cheap building, so they wouldn't normally have heard the sound of footsteps. I was just wondering, they haven't seen the kids. Maybe the kids are dead. It was like the sound of someone stamping their feet in frustration. One thing with the kids being dead is then what happens to Basilar. An instant later, accompanied by what seemed to be the sound of her running into the second floor hallway, they could hear Maria calling, "Ooh, ooh, ooh," over and over again, sounding displeased. Rosa grabbed her head, her hair flying, and she voicelessly moaned in anguish. The adults conscientiously turned their backs to her, pretending not to notice. A noisy clamour came down from the second floor and flew into the lobby. It was Maria who was sobbing, along with the other children in Nuncha. In other words, they had all come downstairs because of Maria's tantrum. Rosa couldn't hide her dizziness of this new annoyance her daughter was bringing to everyone.
ごめんローザおばさん。私たちもなだめたんだけど、どうしても聞いてくれなくて。
Something about the new witch being selected and you haven't revealed yourself? What's wrong with you? どうしたのマリア。少し静かにしなさい。みんな見てるわよ。
例のバラ庭園のマリアのバラ、あれが急に心配だと言い出して。
寝ぼけたみたいなんです。
I'm now beginning to wonder, is that Rose somehow important?
急にガバッと起き出して、バラが心配だ、バラが心配だって言い出して。マリアちゃん、落ち着いて。
Because maybe it's just because she's a child and all that she keeps going for the Rose, but it's something that's happened in every single route so far. Why?
それは夢なんだよ。
That's a new one.
また折れちゃってるかもしれない。だから少し静かにしなさいって言ってるでしょ。
The sudden rise in the tone of Rosa's voice surprised the children. But Maria's crying just grew louder, and her tantrum just grew fiercer.
ローザさん、子供を頭ごなしに叱ってはいけませんぞ。こういう時は温かい牛乳などを与えると良いものです。ここにあるかね。
さっき朝食代わりに出した牛乳で空っぽです。
誰か子供用の鎮静剤とか持ってるか？ほら、あの銀の粒みたいなやつとか。
持ってるわよ。ああ、今探して飲ませるから。
Without hiding her displeasure, Rosa grabbed the handbag that had been set on the sofa and fished around for some medicine. It seemed she had brought some childish sedatives for Maria's tantrums. She found it and opened the bottle, but it must have been empty. Irritated, Rosa shook the bottle several times, but that didn't change the fact that nothing was in there. As she did that, Maria's crying grew even more intense. Fun times. At that time, Eva was lying on her bed, covered by the bedding. Hideyoshi returned from the washroom, folding a handkerchief soaked in water.
こら、ずいぶんひどい熱や。きっと親族会議の毒気にやられてもうたんやな。今はもう他の親族たちのことは全部忘れるんや。な。
As Hideyoshi spoke to her kindly, she set the soaked handkerchief on Eva's burning forehead. Eva rested her own hand on top of his.
あなたの手、ひんやりして気持ちいい。
わしの手が気持ちいいようじゃ、だいぶ熱が出とるな。安心せい。すぐに薬が効いてくるわ。
Okay, Eva having a fever is disturbing for trusting her point of view.
それにな、わしの手は魔法の手なんや。こうして エヴァの額に手を当てとるとな、どんな熱も立ちどころに治ってしまうんや。
そうね。あなたの手で私の熱が引かなかったことは一度もないものね。
そうや。わしの手があれば医者いらずやで。安心して目をつむるんや。すぐにわしの魔法でぐんぐん熱が下がるからな。
うん、知ってる。あなたの魔法を感じるもの。
Hideyoshi was about to say it was just a placebo effect, but he stopped. Feather said she could feel magic coming from his hand. That was fine for now.
魔法って本当にあるのかしら。
おお、あるで。信じる者にしかわからへんけどな。そういう魔法は案外世の中にたくさんあるもんや。
魔法が実在するなら、やっぱり魔女も実在するのかしら。
ん？
Mm-hmm.
森の魔女ベアトリーチェのことかいな。信じる者にはおるやろな。神様と同じや。信心深い人の前にしか姿を現さんのや。
私もね、昔魔法が使えたの。
ほう、ほんまかいな。じゃあお前も魔女やったんやな。
私がね、絶対に叶えたい夢があって、それを強く願って努力すると、それは必ず叶ったの。私はその魔法でいつも成績は一番だったし、生徒会長にだってなったし、入りたい大学にも実力で入れたし、いつだってどんな願いだって叶えてきたわ。
そうやな。お前の魔法はいつだって大したもんや。お前は確かに魔女や。そして誰にも負けん努力家や。わしゃよ。
私ね、子供の頃からずっと心の中にもう一人の自分がいて、いつも私を励ましてくれたの。そしてその自分は魔女だったわ。
I feel like at this point Hideyoshi's gonna go, okay, it's going a bit weird.
森の魔女ベアトリーチェなんて信じなかった。もし六軒島に魔女がいるとしたら、それは私の心の中の魔女の子。その魔女の自分に私はすごい感謝してる。あなたに出会わせてくれてよかったなっていつも感謝してる。
病気の時のお前はいつも気弱すぎや。今は何も言わんで熱が下がるまでずーっとこうしてるからな。
I'm kind of hoping that she goes, I found the gold.
絶対に手を離さないでね。なんだか私、自分が自分でなくなるような気がして、さっきから怖いの。私の中の魔女がベアトリーチェに触発されて、どんどん強くなるような気がして。
Oh no.
なんだか私を飲み込んでしまいそうな気がするの。
大丈夫や。わしが一緒にいる限りなんも恐れることなんてあらへん。ほら、ちょいとヤバめな国に旅行に行った時バスごと強盗にやったことあったやろ。わしが撃退したんやで。
あなた、金時計を渡して拝み倒しただけだったじゃない。かっこ悪いけど、かっこよかったわ。この手、絶対に離さないでね。眠っても絶対に離さないでね。そして何か不気味なものが忍び込んできても私を守ってね。
おう、任せとかんかい。 だから今は安心して眠るんやで。すぐに薬とわしの魔法が効いてくるからな。
Eva finally calmed her heart and closed her eyes. At that time, there was the sound of a door being opened violently from the direction of the lobby. It seemed that Maria was having a tantrum, and screams of ooh ooh could be heard along with Rose's rebuking yells. That probably hurt Eva's ears. Or maybe it was giving her a headache. Eva moaned as though in pain and buried herself in the covers. It was easy to guess what was happening. Maria had probably had a tantrum for some reason and gone down into the lobby, started arguing with Rosa, who then scolded her daughter. And then, maybe that got too embarrassing to be shown in front of the other relatives, so Rosa had taken Maria out into the corridor. Hideyoshi had no desire to butt in on Rosa and Maria's problem. But just for now, since Eva's condition was so bad, he wanted them to take their ruckus somewhere else.
ちょいと待っとれや。静かにするようお願いしてくるわ。
But then you'll let go of her hand.
早く戻ってきて。
By the time you return, it will be whichever.
大丈夫や。この部屋から出んて。
I am now thinking of part of it kind of reminds me of Fate's Stay Night via what's it, Heaven's Feel path with Sakura. Oh, spoilers, I guess. Sakura not being aware that she's killing everyone. Anyway, Hideyoshi removed the chain, opened the door, and stuck his face out into the corridor. He immediately met Rosa's
大
gaze.
丈夫かいな、ローザさん。
ごめんなさい。うるさくして起こしちゃったかしら。
マリアちゃん、ごめんな。エヴァおばさんな、具合が悪くて寝とるんや。すまんが、ちょいと静かにしてもらえるか。
Maria's tone didn't change after Hideyoshi's request. She kept whining and repeating, "My rose, my rose." Rosa slapped Maria's cheek, lifted her up while covering her mouth, and dragged her towards the entrance, trying to at least put some distance between her and Hideyoshi's reign. She would still probably be noisy for a while, but he had warned Rosa for the time being. Relying on Rosa's actions as a mother, Hideyoshi closed the door.
またマリアちゃんが泣いてるの？
そうみたいやな。ローザさんも大変や。それを思えば、うちのジョージはできすぎや。親が感謝したいくらいやで。
そうね。
おお、すまんすまん。ほら、魔法の手やで。
Put his hand on Neva's forehead again. Maybe there really was magical power in that hand. A truly peaceful look rose to Eva's face, and bit by bit she began to drift off into the land of sleep. As he had promised, Hideyoshi kept his hand on her forehead. By the entrance, with her hand still against Maria's mouth, Rosa was at a loss what to do next. She hadn't been able to withstand everyone's gazes in the lobby, and had yelled at the children to go upstairs, dashing out of the lobby. Then she had gone out into the corridor, only to have Hideyoshi say that she was too noisy. Where should I go now? Where should I take this child who's having her tantrum? She felt as though tears of frustration were about to come out. As Maria kept struggling in an attempt to scream, Rosa put her mouth up to Maria's ear and tried to persuade Maria in a properly calm voice.
マリアはそんなにもバラが見たいのね。
Maria nodded her head several times, moaning, "Ooh, ooh."
どうしてそんなにバラが見たいの？ お母さんが聞いてあげるから静かに話して。叫んだら殴るわよ。
マリアのバラ、ベアトリーチェに蘇らせてもらったの。また折れちゃってるかも。マリアはそれが心配。確かめないと眠れない。
Apparently, she was still upset about that marked rose from yesterday. Rosa felt her headache throbbing again. But she was at least a little relieved that Maria had now stopped her screaming.
とにかく今はみんな大変なの。だからママたちに迷惑をかけないで。バラの話は明日雨が上がったら好きにしていいから。だから今は聞き分けなさい。やだやだ。マリアのベアトリーチェのバラ。
Rosa reflexively covered Maria's mouth. She had spoken a little too harshly and gotten her agitated again. Rosa realized that it was partly her own fault and clicked her tongue in self-hatred. Maria thought that it was directed at her, and her crying grew even fiercer.
お願いだから静かにして。どうしたらあなたは泣き止むの？どうしたらあなたはママの言うことを聞いてくれるの？
I feel like if they leave, they're going to die. Suddenly, Maria stopped crying so fast that it seemed unnatural. Then she turned around and muttered.
マリアのバラを見たら、ちゃんと明日まで静かにしてるよ。
I don't like that. I really don't like that. What are you looking at?
本当？
うん。バラ庭園に行ってマリアのバラを見たら、もうおとなしくする。
I don't like that.
本当だよ、ママ。
And on that note, I'll be ending it there for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments, and until next time, see ya. I'm going to try to get these next few episodes out quicker than normal and then go back to a normal pace. I'll see how that turns out with recording and editing and stuff. But yeah, until next time, see ya.